Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley. Welcome back to Trekyards.
I'm Commander Cookings and Stuart. I would like you to think back to remember a very special day. February the 11th, the last episode of Season 1 of Discovery. The episode plays, the story concludes, and then right at the end, a mysterious thing appears, and we are given one shot, one angle, and more questions come from that. What are we looking at today, Stuart, and why is this a really exciting day for us?
Well, this, guys, is a world exclusive, I guess you could say. We're excited to be a part of it. We have been sponsored by Star Trek Adversaries, and today we are going to be looking at the Discovery Enterprise as modeled by them for their game, which is going to coincide with their release on mobile devices later this week. So this is kind of like the first officially licensed by CBS-ish kind of ship, I guess. They got the same orthos as Eaglemoss did.
Yeah, it's the first model after the real model, based on the right stuff they were given, as approved by them. And now we've been given it to show it to you and impress you, and then you can go play the game and use this ship and all its special abilities and all things next week. But you're seeing it here first, which means, as we do on Trekyards, it means new views, new renders, new scale things. We're going to do a couple of episodes looking at all those things, and this is interesting because we do see new views we've never seen before. So, Stuart, the top view in a not overly blue, not overly black, nice and clear, and not calendar earlier work in progress version. Here's the actual design. Nice top three quarters. What do you think now that you can see her clearly and crisply? Yes.
Well, as I've said before, I mean, I love this design. I think it's a fantastic reimagining of the ship. So I think it's great. I love the colors, even of the hull here. It's a nice blending, but it's kind of tying in NX-01 for sure. This is like the next evolution of that. You can definitely see that in the color scheme as well as the engine design. So beautiful job. I love this model. So glad we could look at it.
Yeah, it's definitely more NX meets Enterprise refit, with the Aztecing, with the sort of details, but then give it the NX silvers. I mean, I was kind of surprised how grey and silver it was, because again, we don't get real sense of the colours based on the show, because it's so pushed out with that. But yeah, it's a weird ship, because it is actually very simple, which is what the TOS Constitution class should, could, and is. But with these new pieces, and I do quite like the organic, nice curvy, bridge dome unit. It's more than just a bridge dome, the whole section which sort of combines in very NX style. Yeah, it's simple and nice for the most part.
Beautiful shot of it from behind. I don't know. This ship is really nice. I'm really a fan of this design. If it wasn't for the improper scaling, which we'll talk about in another episode, I would be so on board with this thing being a reimagining.
And what's interesting about this one is that the design is so faithful. It's more the aesthetics that are deviating, but you could easily do a refit of this to give it that clean pearlescent paint scheme. I would love to see what it would look like with a clean TOS style, that refit, and then it gets refit into if we're still assuming the original Prime Connie is Prime still, I'd like to see that sort of jump. I mean, I think this ship still fits in better as a mid step, the Constitution prototype. You know what I mean? This kind of works better as their first test, and then more different. I do like the impulse drive. I like the combined pieces. The silvers work for the most part, and even the slits in the pylons don't detract. I mean, mechanically speaking, it's kind of confusing, but they don't stand out specifically, so therefore they don't present as a visual problem beyond the why. But artistically, it's okay.
Seeing this in the pearlescent white would be nice, and then putting straight struts on it. Just those two simple things I'd like to really see. I do like the beefed up impulse deck. Like you said, those impulse engines look really impressive. What they've done here. And yeah, you're right. The struts don't really look out of place with that slit in them. But
from some views anyway.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's
but the next picture is an underside view. Again, the slits push out a bit more. And this one, obviously, you get to see the reasonably faithful, nice back part of the warp nacelles. That was obviously a great, yay, good, correct, good job sort of detail. And it being glowed is fine. A lot of the Discovery ships have just a big bright glow, but if they'd all had this grilling, then it would have been much more. Okay, I can see that, as opposed to, huh. So this is a good, you can sort of, I can sort of buy that they could be lit. Sure.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. Yeah, the blue glows even on the inner grilling of the nacelles work for me. As I've talked about many times, I lit mine. I think it's something that should have been lit because it's kind of followed that lineage all the way from NX-01 all the way up. So yeah, I think this is beautiful, and the end caps are nice with the holes for sure. They're nice.
I also appreciate that the inner grills aren't overblown. You could they could easily be tempted to not necessarily Enterprise D it by having such that was a radical new design for a new era. That was different, but have a huge swath of that be big glowy so that it's bright and glow. But no, it's pretty minimal considering. It's just that's a good mixture of this set has a sense of function as opposed to it's just there to glow.
If you go to the next picture, this is a shot of from the bottom.
The classic Connie view, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And here you can see the stubbiness of that neck design, which actually is kind of growing on me. I kind of like the stout look of this ship. Because when you look at the TOS one, it can be a little long and spindly for some people. Plus, it narrows as it goes towards the secondary hull, which a lot of people don't like.
Yeah, it's
I personally think that's fine. Yeah, it is, but this follows more in line with that refit aesthetic, a little bit stockier and a little bit more robust.
And I do kind of appreciate they resisted putting torpedo launchers in the neck. It was such an obvious thing, but that was meant to be an improvement to the refit. Like when you add something to a universe, you've got to look at technology before and after and say, right, this has got to be in between. We've still got to allow the future technology to seem as impressive as it was designed to be. If you added a torpedo launcher at the bottom front of the saucer that fired special torpedoes, then you're detracting away from the Enterprise Z having this specialist torpedo launcher, which was its big tactical improvement. Or give it phaser strips. That's specifically Enterprise D's tactical improvement. There's reasons for these things to evolve as things go on. So I appreciate they kept away from that, and you can see on the text, so there is the torpedo holes. Obviously, this is a simple model for a game, but you can see they are where they should be. Awesome, and there are actually the faint outline of the phaser ball turrets, which are very Excelsior, very refity.
I was just going to say, it's nice to see the smoothness carried over into this reimagining. Now, it looks like they almost didn't add a bridge window. I know we're harping on bridge windows, but this, just judging by the looks and the size of the other windows, those slits that are lit up look more like what we see on the refit, where they're glowing elements, but they're not windows. And that is cool that this is actually in this model, because I expected a window there for sure.
Yeah, they get so many brownie points for sticking to the prime canon there. We saw something in the show that was then made a long time ago, theoretically a long time ago, and they obviously saw the reaction to it, and then Eagle Moss got the plans and such, and we saw those renders come out. It had similar to this. This is again based on all those similar. So the fact that CBS are approving a model like this is giving me a lot of hope that either they're going to not have a bridge window, or very simply have it just be translucent, so it's not visible.
Open and close.
So that's such an easy fix. It becomes opaque. It isn't opaque. I mean, it's the easiest win. That is a cleverer design. Again, there's whatever. So yeah, hopefully, and I'm going to give them brownie points for that.
Very cool. I do like the recessed registry number. How it's sunk in a little bit with the lighting. That's a really cool idea for self illumination.
Yeah,
and it's kind of unique, which I like. So,
I mean, it is sort of mimicking the Shinjo a little bit, because that does have sort of lights, but it's that's just more happens to be on the hull. This is more dedicated. I mean, it's unusual, and it's kind of more Franklin-esque because of it in that it has the bridge window just big cutout.
One of my beefs about this, though, I gotta say, or while we're talking about registry number, is the fact that the font they use for the registry number is very refit, motion picture era, just without the pinstriping around it. I don't know why they just didn't use the standard TOS font for the registry. Would have been more impressive to me. Plus, the fact that USS Enterprise is curved to match the hull. On the TOS one, it was straight across. Just simple things like that, which visually the eye notice, like subconsciously you notice, even if you don't notice, would have made it feel a little bit more TOS in my opinion, because it does have a very refit feel with those angled struts and stuff. It's just a subtle little thing that would have helped a little bit.
So next picture is the impulse deck, and we can now clearly see what's in the middle of the impulse deck. It's 2 lit semicircles.
It's actually an airlock, I think. So
yeah, kind of works. I mean, it should be also aft torpedoes, but we know they don't have aft torpedoes except the Defiant, but they fire from into place. Great impulse deck, nice recessed, little bits of good detail.
I was gonna say it's kind of got a Excelsior feel to it with those fins there, and they also tie in with the Shinjo, what we've seen on that. So interesting to find out what those exactly are. They must have some purpose in this universe, and it's standard on every ship.
They're the go faster stripes, but physical geometry. Next picture is the Shuttle Bay. This is a bit we never got to see in any other images, and it's got this massive lip for some reason.
Which I don't mind. I mean, that's like a staging area for shuttles. I'd want to be able to like have some ready for launch or have a good landing spot where you can ease in. It always seemed dangerous to me the way the other one was, the TOS one was. But at least they kept the clamshell doors very TOS style, and they don't look at all like the refit, which would be the natural thing that they should do with this design. Really, is make more of a refit look. But they kept that TOS clamshell design, which really looks cool here. The lip might be a little big, but I can get behind it. I think that's fine.
It's an artistic choice for the swept back feel, which I think you can justify form follows function reason there. I like the extra glowy red and green. It's super clear. It implies.
Next shot is the underside of that, which is the more hollowed out scoop. And again, this goes back to more of a refit style cutout. It's a lot longer and a lot smoother. It's not as abrupt as the TOS one, which takes away from the internal volume of the secondary hull, but it looks a lot sleeker and stylish, I think, than the TOS one does. But again, you could have just kept that TOS cut and made that lip as big as it is, and that would have been fine. So
what I think it's John Eves and Scott. They both. I think John took out of his Enterprise E playbook. Sort of cut and paste, but not in a bad way necessarily. Just it adds a certain dimensionality. It adds a certain feel to it. Yeah, although my eye suddenly does go to the cutouts, how sort of odd it looks, but you can see there's now enhanced structural pieces connecting it to the hull. It's not just the TOS slot in. It's got some extra sort of bulk to it.
Next shot is a close-up of the nacelle. And again, here we get to see some of that self-illumination on the registry, which absolutely, I love that. It's something that the TOS one was sorely lacking, but really would have been there and made sense. So I love that they included that. And even the shape of the nacelles, I really appreciate the fact that they kind of taper off at the back a little bit. And even the way the end cap is, it makes it look faster when it's standing still, which is really cool looking. Again, it wasn't a necessary change. I could have stayed with the original nacelles and I would have been perfectly happy. But as a reimagining, this is really impressive to me, and I really like this look. So, and it ties in perfectly with the NX.
Honestly, it's a nacelle that does look like they drew the original, which is just a tube with a few little bits and bobs. They did get the instruction how to make it look 25% different. They just massaged the shapes until they got something they thought looked cool. But it still has that sort of similar feel. I can still see this. It looks, it's weird. It looks less advanced because it's got extra things. It's got extra, it isn't the iPhone of the, nacelle world. It's the Nokia Flip. It's got extra. It's got an aerial in it for some reason. It doesn't need to have the aerial. It doesn't need to. You know what I mean? It's not that, minimalist look that the future technology has. But I do certainly like the push out components which have the self illumination. Easy, simple, clean, adds detail. Great choice. I'm wondering.
Next shot is a close up of the Bizarre collectors, and again, it definitely has an NX vibe here with the way those pieces come in on the sides. But I like it. I mean, ties in well enough with the TOS, and as a nice evolutionary line from the NX to really be kind of perfect as an in between step.
just a cool sort of reimagining that isn't canon, quote unquote, isn't faithful, quote unquote, but it's a good reimagining. And the bottom picture then, the next picture is the bottom picture, which you can then see the landing leg pieces are sort of there. You've got these 2 cargo hatches, for some reason with a window in between them, which looks a bit awkward. The window scaling is a bit weird on this, given that we know it's been upscaled quite dramatically, but these windows are an identical replica of what the orthographics they were given, which was off the original model, so therefore that is accurate. And so, you know, these teeny windows are either going to be the smallest porthole you've ever seen, you know, or the big, or their normal size, and the big windows are like, you know, a pane glass of an entire deck.
Yeah. Anyway, so and they kept the registry numbers on the bottom the same layout, which is nice.
Yep.
And they didn't put it up front or anything or change that dramatically. So I love that.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's just there you have it, guys. A quick look at this fantastic redesign. And I am looking forward personally to playing that in the game, because I have been playing Adversaries quite a bit lately, and I'm glad it's going to mobile, because that'll make it easier for me to play, because I really don't have a lot of time to sit down in front of my computer and do things. So I'm really looking forward to that, guys. So great addition at the time of going to mobile. I'm excited.
And thank you to Adversaries for sponsoring this episode. It actually is a very fun game. You know, they focus on ships, lots of amazing looking ship models in a pretty damn good lighting engine. Lots of good weapon effects and the player cards, because, you know, you play characters which add abilities to each, you know, all that stuff makes it a genuinely tactical experience, and you have to pay attention, because one move against pretty smart AI, you know, they will win. They will win. You know, you've got to actually be thinking every single move and try and balance all your abilities and all of your things, and it is a genuinely tactical game, and I quite enjoy a tactical game where you can also win. You know, that's important. If you do all the right decisions, you can win. And also picking the right deck and such. So thank you for sponsoring this episode and allowing us to bring these renders to the fans, because, you know, the view we saw a really good view of the ship. We really did, swooping by and everything. But this is an abstract, everything, every angle, so you get a sense of how she looks, how she feels, sort of in her entirety. So now you have a better sense of how she looks, and we're going to do more episodes looking at other facets of the ship, comparing as we do, scaling as we do, and just seeing what it looks like and how it feels, because this is another Enterprise to add to the line. Either it be a retcon or a addition to Prime, or you know, completely new. It's a new Enterprise. And
don't forget, when you're playing Star Trek Adversaries, look up Team Trekyards and become a member of Team Trekyards fleet. We have our own fleet on there, and look us up, both the commander and myself. I'm under Captain Foley, all one word. Anyway, guys, download the game, and thank you for watching. As always, click like, subscribe. Don't forget to join us on a regular basis for more content like this, and join the Facebook group, because there's lots of cool stuff going on over there as well.
And of course, support the Patreon if you want to help us bring you cool videos like this and every other show we do every single week, every single day sometimes, and lots of times every single month. So support if you can, or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. Click the donate button, give a little bit, and it's like a thank you for what we do, and encourage us to make more, because we want to make more. There's always more to talk about. So
that's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Commander Coggins.
Go download Star Trek Adversaries now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.